Hello, everybody, and welcome to March forecast. This month, I'm going to focus in the planets that move quickly, but I am going to talk also about a planet that has a slower movement because it is in the same area usually for 7-8 years. I'm going to focus on this planet because it is determining the energy of the month, because on the 6th or 7th of the month, depending on the area where you are, it's changing its position, and this planet is Uranus. And this date, these first days of the month until the 6th, 7th, are making the first part of the energy of the month, because on the 5th there is another planet, more quickly planet, that is Mercury, that is changing not the area but the position or the movement that it's having. Mercury is direct, and the 5th is changing its movement until to retrograde. When a planet is retrograde, means that the energy is not available to use it, but to be aware of what we are doing with this energy. So it's a moment of analyzing or take into account and be aware of what we are doing, in this case with the energy of Mercury. Then the energy of the month is more or less the same, and at the end of the month, on the 26th, we are going to have another change of energy, another shift of energy, because Venus is changing its position. And again on the 28th, Mercury is going to change its movement, because it's going to stay direct again. So it's going to be the end of this analysis, or this awareness of what we are doing with the energy of Mercury. And we are going to change into again having the energy of Mercury available to use it, as I will explain later. So this month is really important because it's a really shift of energy, because it begins a new chapter, because as I said, Uranus is in the same position usually for 7-8 years. What happened last year is that Uranus changed its position from May to November, so it was anticipated what it was going to bring this year, from the 6th, 7th onwards, for 7-8 years, as I told you. So I'm going to make a few I'm going to say a few words about what Uranus in Aries has brought us. Aries is an energy that is, it can be defined as the energy of staying present. Aries, more than any energy of any sign, it's telling us about staying, about being present. It's the energy of defend our position, to stay, to initiate things. So it's about action, it's about movement, it's about sometimes when we are talking about astrology forecast, Aries is compared to our personality, because it's the difference between being present or not being present. If I am not present, I don't show myself, then it's like if I am hidden from the world. So Aries, it's about our personality, or it can be compared to our personality, because it's the way that I express, not express, but to stay present. For example, if someone is attacking me, the way that I defend myself, or the way that I stay or stand my position. And what Uranus has been doing in this sign in Aries from 2012 until 6th, 7th of this month, as I told you, with the break of May until November of last year, it's that it has been inviting us to make changes in these things. Uranus is an energy about changing, and it has also a meaning of updating things. Uranus is related to new technologies, so the changes that our Uranus is inviting us to do are related to two things. One thing is to take away the things that we don't need anymore because they have become old, and to take some things that are really new. But usually, the way that Uranus is working, it's like it's like turning on the bulb or turning off the bulb. I think I have used the right expression. Um, because the thing is not these things is no longer useful for me, so I'm going to take it away, and then I'm going to take this thing forever. No, the way that Uranus works, it's this thing is no longer useful for me, so I am aware that I have to take this thing off. So I have to find something new, and in this process of finding something new, maybe we can feel that we are like frozen. So in these years from 2012, maybe in what is related to our personality, um, we can feel that. The process has been that we knew, at least at the first time, in a clearer way, what we were not anymore, but we didn't have the knowledge of what we have become. So we have been doing this process by I'm no longer like this, so I cannot behave like this because I am not longer this person, but I feel frozen because I don't know who I am. And then something happens, or the outside is forcing me to behave in a certain way, and I connect to a new pattern of behavior, and then I take it for a time, and then one day is the same thing, but I am not longer this pattern of behavior, and then I have to take it away, and then again and again. So what Uranus has made us do is to be updating the way that we were presenting ourselves, or the way that we are showing us to the world. What this process has made to us is that if we take a look back, the way that we are is completely different now. If we are comparing us to the person that we were before 2012. So we have been updating what we are. For example, if one person is very shy, it Uranus can have forced this person to be more public, or more present to the world. Or if some person is very has a very bad temper, Uranus can force this person to change and to stay more calm, or to learn some ways to deal with the anger in a calmer way. it can have been a lot of things, but the thing is that what we are has been taken into a process of change, and this process of change, Uranus, the way that it works is that it makes more stressful to stay in the same position that we were, than to make the changes. So it doesn't mean that everybody has done all the changes in the best way, but that the Uranus energy has been inviting us to do the change, and all of us have changed in a way or another, or in a degree or another. Then on the 6th, 7th of the month, Uranus is changing into Taurus, and that it's a different kind of energy, because the energy of Aries is about it's like fire. It's like being present and all that I have said. But the energy of Taurus is not like that. It's more related to our self-esteem, and the self-esteem is related to the way that we treat ourselves as if we are valuable. So that doesn't that it's not determined by our capacities or our abilities, but it's very related to them, and this is important to remember or to keep in mind, because the thing is that everybody has his own strong points and abilities and let's say qualities, but everybody has also his weak points, and but everybody has his own defects, and this is universal. I mean, everybody has good points and bad points. But what Taurus energy is inviting us is to treat ourselves like if we are valuable, no matter how many good and bad points we have. And this is important because, for example, if we are comparing a person to a house, the house can be a palace or it can be a small house, but it is not determining the way that we are treating this house. We can treat our house like if it's something precious and it's something that it's worth, or we can treat that house like if we know care and we know with no value. And that is the same with one person. We can treat ourselves as if we are worth, or we can treat ourselves as if we are worthless. But in all the cases, in both cases, we have good points and bad points. And Taurus energy is inviting us to treat ourselves in the best way. And that is interesting because Taurus is talking about the inner resources, the abilities and the good points, and the qualities and the bad points, bad points about our defects and the bad things that we have. But in this case, we have to make a difference between what is really a defect and what is an insecurity, because they are two different things. And we have the outer resources that can make our self-esteem grow or decrease, and can make our life more comfortable and more easy to live. And this is important because, for example, if we are taking the people, our friends or people that are around us as a resource, they can contribute to increase our self-esteem, or they can contribute to make us feel like if we are worthless. And this is important because sometimes the thing is because they don't value our capacities, or our abilities, but sometimes it's more fussy. It's because some people don't treat us as if we are worth, and it doesn't mean that maybe they can evaluate our capacities, but they don't treat us as if we were worth, because for example, they don't respect our space, or they don't respect our time, or whatever. But sometimes this treatment is because of our treatment to ourselves. Because, for example, if I value myself, then I'm going to do something so simple like making myself giving myself some sleep. If I don't treat myself as if I am valuable, then maybe I'm not going to respect my needs, or I'm not going to respect my priorities. um, and that doesn't mean that I am not thinking that I have abilities, or I have capacities, or I have qualities. So this area of Taurus energy is a very huge one. It's not only self-esteem, but because self-esteem it's mm, about a lot of things, not only to say I am worth, or I am not worth, but a lot of more things. So Uranus in Taurus is inviting us, or is going to invite us to apply these changes, in this case to our self-esteem and to our resources. I have been talking about the inner resources, but Taurus is also about the outer resources, which in the most of the cases are the money, and the objects that we have, that, as I said, make our life more, let's say, comfortable. So maybe the changes are about the way that we relate to these resources, and especially the way that we relate to money. I'm going to start talking about the other resources because I think it's easier. If we are talking about the money, Uranus can be inviting us to change the way that we relate to money, and that can mean, for example, changing the way that we earn money. Let's say the origin of these earnings. Sometimes the thing is not only the amount of money that we have, but the quality of this money. For example, it can be a time where we discover that or Uranus is inviting us to change the value that we give to money. And if we have been giving money a lot of value, then we can discover that now we it's more important to us, for example, to have time than to have money. So maybe we prefer to earn less money and have more time to enjoy life. But it can be the opposite. It can be another people that have been living life and enjoying life, but now they realize that they need money. Sometimes because they want to have something. They want to buy a house, or they want to buy something, and they need money. So they decided to spend more time working, because they need more money than before. Relating to talking about the inner resources, the thing can be the same. For example, if we have been working too much on our defeats, Uranus can change things, and our defects, sorry. Uranus can change things and can invite us improve or to promote more our qualities than to focus more in our qualities than focusing on our defects. But it can be the opposite. For example, if some people have been investing energy in developing their abilities, maybe they Uranus is inviting us to treat or to take care or to invest more energy in working their insecurities. Another thing that can that can be interesting with Uranus in Taurus is that if some people in the outside or some environments in the outside are contributing to increase or decrease our self-esteem, then it's the time to make the changes. For example, if we have friends and they are not contributing to our self-esteem, then maybe it's time to cut those friendships. And if we are in a job, for example, that is not contributing to make us feel valuable or worth, then maybe it's time to cut this job. Sometimes the thing is more subtle, but because it's not like something that was is wrong and we have to take action. But that and the thing is that what before was a source of self-esteem now is no longer useful for us. So we have to look for different sources of self-esteem. We have to focus in others' abilities, or we have to focus in other ways to make ourselves feel that we are worth. So Uranus is opening a door that is going to last for 7 years, and it's going to have changes. It's going to bring us changes in those things, and also in the society. Uranus is going to bring changes in the way that we relate to money. So maybe in the way that we organize money, like banks and things like that. The economy system is going to have some changes. The interesting thing of this month is that Mars is in Taurus even before Uranus is coming into Taurus, because Mars is here since last month. And Mars is the planet associated to Aries, so it's about taking action. So Mars, before Uranus is coming here to Taurus, is inviting us to take action in these things. So sometimes it can be something like investing more energy in our self-esteem. And Mars, every time that is in an area, it's inviting us to do something, but it can be because we decide to take action. So it's an action that is coming from ourselves. We decide that it's the time to invest in our self-esteem. So we decide to treat ourselves in a better way, or we decide to invest in people that are treating us in a better way, and to cut with people that are not treating us well, and to cut with personal treatments that are not making us feeling good. But sometimes the action is not something that is promoted by us, but it's a reaction of something that is coming from the outside. And it can be in two ways. One way, it's the easy way. For example, somebody is inviting us to take care of ourselves, or sometimes it's saying us or treating us in a way that it's inviting us to feel more valuable. But sometimes it can be the opposite. It can be that we are being attacked by people or by the circumstances, and we need to have a reaction to um, to uh, to prevent to those attacks, to prevent our self-esteem. For example, in one case, somebody is telling us that we have a good ability of something, and they are encouraging us to trust in that ability. But in the other case, the thing is that we are having, for example, some people or some circumstances that are treating us like if we don't our ability is not no has no important no has no quality. So we have to react and to do. We can do two things. One thing is to fight, but Mars is not inviting us to fight, but to stay in our position. No, my ability is a good ability, and it has quality, and I'm going to take action, so that I'm going to trust in my ability no matter what is happening outside. It's what Mars is inviting us to do. So it's a month that is going to shift the energy, because the focus of the next 7 years is going to be in the self-esteem. So we have to do things to protect or to increase our self-esteem. But the thing is that these things usually are going to be different from what it used to be, because Uranus is going to bring changes. So another thing that is happening this month is that from the beginning of the month until the 26th, we are going to have Venus in Aquarius. And Venus in Aquarius, Aquarius is the energy of a sign that is associated to Uranus. So Aquarius is also related to changes and to making things in a different way. And Venus is the planet associated to relationships and to harmony and to softness. So from the beginning of the month until the 26th, at the same time that we are going to change energy from being present to focusing our self-esteem. Venus in Aquarius is going to invite us to enjoy and to take with a comfortable rhythm the changes that we are making, especially in what is related to relationships. That means that is the time where if we feel that some people are connected to us, no matter if they value us or they don't value us, they contribute to increase or decrease our self-esteem, but related to the feeling of connection or disconnection, we have to take it with a slow rhythm. That means that if we feel that we are connected to some people, it's the time to invest energy in those people, but not very strong, but in an easy way. And if we are feeling that we are no longer connecting to some of our friends, it's time to take things slowly, to be mm, taking steps to stay away from these relationships, but very slowly steps. And it's the time where if we feel that we need to do some changes, and especially in our personality or our self-esteem, we have to take them in a slowly rhythm. So if we decide that we have to do something to our with our life, and we have to do some changes. It's the time to do it. But I told before that the process of the energy of the change is like turning on and turning off both. So it's the time of doing that, but with a rhythm that is slow enough to manage and to be comfortable. With the self-esteem, the thing is that it can be, even if we want to take things comfortable, Mars is in the area of self-esteem, so it can be a very strong process. But in all the other changes, it can be an easy way to start to make the change. And especially in the thing that is related to relationships, is a time to enjoy people that are with whom we feel connected. Is the time to do it. During all the time we have Mercury in Pisces, and from the 26th onwards, Venus is going to be in Pisces too. So the energy of Pisces is the energy of the sensation. I always refer to the energy of Pisces as the energy of the sensation, and the sensation is something related to the soul, to the soul. Because the sensation is sometimes when I am talking about the energy of Pisces, I'm talking about that if we have a picture of the reality, Pisces is like the filter of this picture. Let's say that if we have a soul that is full with deceptions, then the picture of the reality is going to be with a filter of a shadow, and we are going to feel, or we are going to have a sensation of this picture that is more negative. And if our soul is full with illusion and it's full of faith, then the picture has a filter of light, so the sensation of the picture is going to be it's going to be brighter. It's going to be like a better sensation. And the thing with Pisces is trying to keep these two filters of disillusion and illusion in certain levels, because it's not very good to have a big amount of disillusion, because we are going to feel the reality in a more negative way. But it is also no good to have huge level of faith, because that can brings too much light to the picture, and then we are not going to connect to the reality. We are going to connect to a fantasy. So we have to have faith and to have illusion, but in a way that we are always looking at the reality, no disconnecting to the reality that we have. Because the risk with a lot of faith, a lot of illusion, a lot of light filter, it's that we don't feel the reality. We evade of this reality, of our reality. So this month we have all the time Mercury in this area, in the area of Pisces. And as I told you, Mercury has a movement that is going to change from the 5th to the 28th, because it's going to be retrograde. And Mercury is the energy of the mind, is the energy of our thoughts, of our perceptions, of our ideas, and of our communication. So this energy of the month is going of the mind, sorry, is going to be put into this area of the filter of this illusion or disillusion or in the reality. So from the 5th to the 28th, it's good that we evaluate how our thoughts, our perceptions, our ideas are contributed to have a better or a worse filter of the reality. And this is important because this area of Pisces is not related to the picture of the reality. I mean, we can have a picture of a landscape, we can have a picture of a car, we can have a picture of a house, but Mercury in this area is not talking about changing this picture. It's talking about changing the filter. And how is changing the filter? Using the energy of the mind. And how is using the energy of the mind? Using the energy of the memories and the energy of the imagination of the future. Because if we have a good level of a bad level, let's say, of disillusionment, then what we are doing is that we are taking one memory and we are using that painful memory to perceive our reality in a worst way than it is, or perceiving our future in a worst way that or in the worst way that it can be. So what the energy of Pisces is asking us to do to work it in the better way is to use two things. Pisces is the energy of the illusion and the energy of the disillusionment. So we have to work always these two things. The thing is not to only to increase the faith of the illusion. The thing is also to decrease the energy of the disillusionment. So if we are talking about Mercury, that is the mental energy, the thing is to work first of all with the awareness of what is happening, because if we don't know that we have a level of disillusionment or a level of fantasy, then it's not probably that we're going to do something, because we are not aware of what we are doing or what is happening in our soul. And the second thing is to take action. And how we take action, changing the way that we relate to our memories. And always when there's something in this area is related to our dreams in two ways. Some first way or first case is the case where we have fulfilled a dream, but we have achieved something, but that was a dream to us, but we have lost it. So we have the memory of having it, but we have also the memory of losing it. And another thing is that we had a dream and we didn't life hasn't made us fulfill that dream. So in the first case, for example, we are talking about one love relationship that we had, and then that relationship we have lost it, or we have had, for example, a grandmother, and we were very fond of her, but now she's no longer with us. Then the way that to work with this when Mercury is in this area is first of all, because we are talking about Mercury retrograde, not Mercury direct, it's taking being aware what is happening. Because if I don't realize that I am missing my grandmother, or I am missing my love relationship, then I cannot take action. And the second thing is do the two things. One thing is to let the sorrow come out, because if I am missing something that I have had, that I am missing a dream, a good relationship, or whatever that I have had, then I have to let this pain or this sorrow come away. So it's good to feel this sorrow, but of course we have to work with the other thing, to with the memory of what we have had. Let's say if I am doing something with the sorrow of having lost my grandmother, then after that I have to do something with the memory of the good moments that I have with my grandmother, because then the process is, let's say, complete. Because if I only focus in the good memories, then I'm not taking paying attention to the sorrow. But if I only pay attention to the sorrow, then I'm not using the memory of the good times that I spent with that person to something that is healing for my soul. So we have to do the two things. And if the thing is that we are not feeling well because there's a dream that has been very special to us and life hasn't made us fulfill that dream, then it's good that we, of course, release the pain of deception because we didn't have what we dreamt. But also it's good to remember something that life has brought us and was unexpected. For example, if my dream is to have a house, and I cannot have a house, then it's good that I give myself permission to release the deception of not having a house. But for example, I didn't dream, or I didn't want to have a cat, and then life has brought me a cat, and it was like a gift. Then it's good that I use the mind to say, hey, I didn't dream of that. I didn't dream, sorry, of that, but life has surprised me, because then we are doing two things. One is to say, this dream I don't have it, but this dream I wasn't planning to have it, but I have it. So doing these two things usually, or always, when we are working with Pisces energy, we have to do the two things, because one thing is um, to to feel the good things that we have, and another thing is to feel the bad things that we have. But the two things are together, because Pisces is an energy of wholeness. So we always have to work like that. So with Mercury, all the month here is good to use the energy of the memory to do that, because if we have a good energy of the memory that is including the two things, the bad things and the good thing, then we are making aware of how we are related to our dreams, the ones that have been come true and the ones that have not. And from the 26th, Venus is going to be here. So Venus in this area is about putting energy of slow rhythm in this. So maybe from the 26th, it's important because Venus is the energy related to Taurus. So this month is starting a new chapter of focusing more in our self-esteem. And Venus, that is the planet associated to self-esteem, is going to be into Pisces from the 26th. So that means that from the 26th, what is better to our self-esteem is to have a good state of the soul. And Mercury has been anticipated or preparing our soul to do this, because if we make the most of the energy of Mercury, then we are going to have a good relationship with our memories, so that our soul is going to feel better. And then from the 26th, we are going to have a better disposition to take the process of connecting to our soul and to healing our soul in a rhythm that is good for us, is comfortable to us. Venus in this time, from the 26th, is giving us a gift. The gift is to think in all the relationships that have done us two things. One thing is to connect ourselves with the illusion, and another thing is to connect ourselves with the disillusion. Let's say, if, for example, we have had a lover or a friend, and he's now with us, or was in the past, or whatever, and it's like a guide to us, because he or she connect us to faith in life, because it's like an angel to us. Then it's good to take to pay attention to this relationship, because it can be very healing to our soul. But it can be the opposite way. It can be that we have been having a big deception with our relationship, and then it's good that we again do the same process. We have a deception, but in one in a time it was something that was really appealing. So enjoy of the feel. We have to enjoy the feeling that we had first of illusion, and then release the feeling of disillusionment. If it's in the present, then it's good that we do this process, because Venus in this area, it's tending to make us see relationships in two ways: relationships that are angels, and relationships that are devil devil devils, or angels and devils. I don't know if I am using the correct word. So it's good that we if some relationships are in our lives, and we see them as angels, that we enjoy this feeling, but also to realize that they are real. They are not angels. They can be real, but with a touch of an angel. And if we have relationships in the present, or maybe in the past, that have connected us with a lot of disillusionment, it's good that we realize that these relationships are also people with a bad side, but not totally evil. I had to apologize in this video, because now today my English is not the best day of level. But anyway, I hope that you have found the information interesting and useful for the way that you are dealing with the energy of Mars. And I hope that you have a good month of March, and we will see in the next video.